Hi, welcome to the Rittner Floral School in Boston, Mass. I'm Dr. Steve Rittner, and it's a pleasure welcoming you into one of our classrooms today for your quick floral design tip of the day. The time of the year, it's December. And during December, we all run into this kind of thing. We all bring our Christmas trees into our homes, and one of the particular materials that are used in order to help us transport our Christmas trees are the plastic netting. This stuff is amazing. I mean, think about it. It would be very, very difficult, if not impossible, for most of us to transport our Christmas trees home if they didn't take this stuff, wrap the Christmas trees in it. Once they do that, it's easy to just throw it on a car and tie it down and bring it home comfortably. But the question comes in, what do you do with all of this stuff once you've gotten it home and once you've taken it off your Christmas tree so that you can use your Christmas tree? Well, most of us would simply consign this to recycling and let it go at that. But as a floral designer, I see something else in this stuff that we can do that'll make it even more interesting from an aesthetic point of view. Why not consider using some of your Christmas tree netting as an infrastructure for some of your floral art? It typically comes in either red or red and white, as you see here, kind of candy cane. Sometimes it comes in green or red and green. It comes in different textures. This stuff is amazing. It's kind of very, very thick. Here's another variety, similar kind of stuff that we pulled off of our Christmas tree when it came in. Again, it's netting, it's plastic, and this is a slightly different kind of texture product. But the bottom line is that it makes a very, very interesting infrastructure, and we can do things with this from a point of view of floral art. One of our biggest problems as floral designers, we have two major issues that we have to deal with. One is we need to create our arrangements so that we can get water to our flowers and floral products. The second is the issue of control, making the flowers and stems kind of stay where we'd like them approximately. This is a problem that becomes kind of challenging when we're dealing especially with water-based media. One of my favorite materials is to make use of some of the wire, the decorative wires that are available in our industry. These are available through the folks at Smithers Oasis, and they're amazing, and we can work our flower stems through and hold our flowers in place with this. But I think that some of this Christmas netting is something that you want to consider carefully as something that is really neat because it's available to us at this time of the year. We have the materials left over from our tree, and it's kind of fun to play with. Here's an example. In this particular case, we've got a kind of a pyramidal shaped piece of glassware. We've taken some of the same Christmas tree netting that you see here. We've stuffed it in there. Some of these things are lighter, some of them are a little bit heavier. We've stuffed it in, poured our water in, placed a couple of green Fujis in here, worked a few millimeter balls, and voila, you've got something that's interesting. It feels seasonal, it's quick and easy to do, and it's something that gives us a little bit of a different look to your floral art. Let me show you another example, my viewer, because I think these things are kind of neat, and it's something that you may never have really considered when doing holiday designing, but I think that, again, it is something that we should because it enables us to use these things in a really cool way. Now, if you look, we've got here a container. It is more of a circular container. Look at the infrastructure. We obviously have some of our Christmas tree netting, and then going up to the top, we happen to have placed a few things in here. We have some of our Fujis, but in this case, white Fujis. We also happen to have a few of our carnations, a few millimeter balls placed. And again, half of the fun of this kind of design is that not only do we have our flowers and water, but the use of this Christmas tree netting infrastructure helps hold it in place. We've also taken a few pieces of the netting and even draped it around the top for just added effect and a little bit of a kinky kind of effect. So what do you think, my viewer? Quick, easy, fun. Let me show you another example of this kind of thing that I think you'll find kind of interesting because, again, it gets across the whole idea of making use of this amazing stuff as an infrastructure. In this particular case, we happen to have a rather wide container. It's rather narrow, only about 2 inches across, but it's kind of a longer container. This is one of my favorites. I like to use this periodically. And again, filled it earlier with some of our Christmas tree netting. placed it in here. It's all red and it gives all these crisscrosses and so forth. Let's come in a little bit closer so that you can see the detail on it, because it's really intricate and looks really neat when you look at this stuff close up. And then use that as an infrastructure upon which we placed our flowers. In this particular case, 4 of our cremone palms, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Placed a few of our alstroemeria here on as kind of a back section. This one is more of a one-sided piece. And then a few millimeter balls here and there to add a little bit of holiday cheer, and a little bit more of our netting kind of intertwined on the top, just to give kind of a way out look. So you can see that our Christmas tree netting works very, very effectively in this particular case. It gives us a really, really cool effect, and it enables us to come up with a different kind of look to our holiday designing during this time of year. Of course, my viewer, I'm not going to just simply stop at this point. Let's play with one just so you can see this stuff is really quick and easy and fun to do. Let's work one here for you. Here, of course, we've got another one of our containers. It's kind of oval. We have some of our Christmas tree netting here. So placing the Christmas tree netting in here, let's add a little bit of water to it, because the whole purpose of this is to enable us in a water-based situation. And so I'm just pouring my water in here. I like the effect of the water in these because you also get the magnifying glass effect, as I like to call it with my classes. In other words, when you look through, it feels like there's even more there. It feels almost like it's bigger than it actually is, because the water itself through the glass gives a magnifying glass effect. Now let's take a quick look at it close up. You can see, my viewer, this is interesting before we even add a single flower, and we're again making use of this whole concept of using the Christmas tree netting. And using similar materials that we used in our last one, I'm going to take a few of our cremone palms and place one over on one side, place a second cremone over on the other. The advantage is these are good keeping materials, but kept in water they hold up even better. I could stop with 2 if I wanted. There's 1, there's 2, but wait, there's more. Let's add 3. And so we've got 3 of our cremone palms in here. Notice how that's quick and easy. I could easily stop at this point if I wanted to, but there are ways that we can embellish this. For example, we could take a few of our millimeter balls. I like the millimeter balls because they add kind of a touch of glitz to our design, and they certainly make no misunderstandings about this being a holiday and a seasonal kind of piece. We could add a couple of our clusters of millimeter balls, glass balls in here, and call it a day. I think that would give a very, very nice effect, and it works pretty well. On the other hand, we can embellish it more. We can take, for example, some of our roses, and here I'm placing a little rose in on one side here. We can take another rose and place it in over on this side over here. So we've got a few roses worked into this equation. I'm going to just shift this just slightly over here, my viewer, so you can also continue to see the millimeter balls. Let's take a third rose and work it back here. So I've got a third rose worked in here. Now this is becoming a little bit more intricate, a little bit fancier. And if I really wanted to get even more elaborate, once again, we could take some of our millimeter balls, and then placing them in here, I can create a more detailed kind of cluster of millimeter balls in through the center, using this almost, using our cremones almost like a cushion. So you can see that we have something, it's viewable all the way around. It involves our cremones, our roses, and some of our millimeter balls. Well, my viewer, what do you think? What do you think? Quick, easy, and fun. Quick, easy, and fun. And that's the whole idea behind it. At Rittners Floral School, we believe floral designing should be quick, easy, and fun. And it's a pleasure to play with some other types of materials, like taking simple Christmas tree netting, stuff that you would normally discard, and taking it and using it one more way before it goes into the recycle bin, because we can take this and use it in an aesthetically interesting way and come up with some really cool floral art. On behalf of all of us here at Rittners Floral School, it's a pleasure to have welcomed you into one of our classrooms for this quick floral design tip of the day. On behalf of all of us here, we hope that you have a very, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.